guys, my name is Julie and this is the Curated Curvy, where I bring you along for the journey as I attempt to create the curated wardrobe of my dreams with these two hands. And today I have for you all a Let's Spin Sewing On video. So during the 4th of July weekend, Joann's was having a pretty big sale, pretty epic. They had 3 different pattern companies on sale. They had their fabric discounted, and they also had coupons that you could pair with the already discounted fabric. So your girls did a little bit of shopping, not too much. We didn't go crazy, but we shopped. Let's get into it. So for the patterns, they have Vogue, Simplicity, and Butterick on sale, which is not common. Usually they'll have Vogue and Butterick on sale together, or they'll have Simplicity on sale by itself. So I went ahead and I picked up a few patterns from each different company. Let's start with the Butterick pattern because I only have 2 of those. So both of my pickups from Butterick were from their most recent drop in terms of pattern collections, which I believe was their summer collection. Butterick and I usually don't align too much style-wise, but every once in a while they'll have a drop where they'll have a pattern and I feel like I just gotta get my hands on it. So is the case with these 2 patterns. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Butterick 6939. This is one of their retro 50s Butterick patterns. This is also one of the vintage reproduction patterns that is stamped with the authentic label. Now, it is a dirty little secret in the sewing community that usually when the Big Four reissues a vintage pattern, it's not really a true reissuing as much as a redrafting of that vintage pattern. Stephanie Canada's channel has a lot of really good side-by-side videos where she will show you the original pattern and then she'll show you the reproduction pattern and how usually the pattern pieces are pretty different. So I believe that some way, somehow they've caught wind of this and they're trying to do something about it. So every so often now, you'll see that some of their vintage reproduction patterns are stamped with an authentic label. I've already dug into this pattern. I've actually cut out the pattern pieces that I need, so I can attest to what is inside of the envelope. What they do, which I think is really cool, is they give you the authentic pattern sheet that came with the original patterns, the original pattern cutting layout, the original construction methods, and then they also give you a supplemental sheet that has modern day cutting layouts because our fabric widths are a little bit different today than they were back then. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty exciting. I also like that they're giving you those vintage instructions because they include things sometimes that modern instructions don't, like how to finish a seam. Now about this pattern comes with 4 pieces. So you have your top, which is like a little cropped cut. It's kind of like a bralette style top, but it has like a thicker strap that's more traditional to like your t-shirts and whatnot. So you have your top, you have your shorts, you have your play suit, and you have your skirt. The top and the skirt can also be combined to make a dress, but that is not in the pattern instructions. I definitely plan on sewing the play suit of this version. I've already cut out a mock-up in some stiffer denim. I really want to use this vintage denim that I thrifted a while ago. It's really just light and soft, but it also has enough body in it to make you feel like you're not wearing like a sheet or a thin piece of cotton or something like that. I didn't want to cut out my vintage denim because obviously you can't get more of that, so I went ahead and I cut out some denim in my stash, which is a little thicker and has a little more weight to it than what I feel like would be better suited for this. But the first and most important thing is that I need to get the fit down right before I get into my precious to me fabric. This pattern envelope comes in sizes 6 to 24. I plan on sewing a size 20 for this just to make sure that it fits my bottom properly. The next one that I got from Butterick is Butterick 6946, and this is a top and a bottom pattern. So it's a long sleeve button down collared shirt as well as a pair of kind of like loose fitting trouser shorts. When you look at the line drawings, it looks like it's a lot more loose fitting than it actually is on the fit model. I would prefer that if I were to make this up, it would be a bit more loose fitting on me than it is on the fit model. So I think what I'll do is if I do get around to sewing this, I will size up both the top and the bottom just to have that more oversized fit. I've been on the hunt for a while now for a good like trouser style pants and shorts, to no success. I've sewn a few patterns. None of them have really come out the way that I was hoping they would. So I'm gonna give it another go, particularly with these shorts, because I think if I size up and I pair it with the right fabric, I could get that look that I'm going for. And with the top, I will size up as well, just because I don't like fitted collar shirts. I like them to be a little more loose fitted, a little more like flowy and drapey on me. That's just my style aesthetic. This pattern comes in sizes 4 to 20. I picked up the envelope that has sizes 12 to 20 in it, and I will be sewing a size 20 for both of these if I get around to sewing them. So Simplicity recently dropped their summer collection, and while I can't say that I loved the entire collection, there were a few patterns in the collection that I was pretty wild about, and so I made sure to write those down, and as soon as they went on sale, I went ahead and picked them up. I actually went to Joann's a few weeks ago when Simplicity was on sale, hoping that they had these patterns, and they didn't have them then, but they had them this past weekend, so I was very excited to see them. Now, the first one that I got is Simplicity 9780, and I believe this is like the image that they show you when you go on their website for like their summer drop, and I can completely understand why. I think this dress is just so darling. I feel like this dress adds something new to your traditional smock style dresses, which is essentially what this dress is, with the seaming that goes through the shoulders, across the bust, and then to the other shoulder. It's tiered, but the tier has an exposed ruffle. It also has a belt to cinch in the waist, which you can or can't wear. That's completely up to you, but I feel like you get two very different looks. I think if I were to make this dress without the belt, I would shorten it just a bit more, because it is going to be a really like, it's a smock dress, so it's definitely going to hang away from the body. However, if I'm going to make the belt, then I would keep the length as is, because once you pull in that belt, it's going to pull up a little bit of the length on your dress. So that's just something to keep in mind. I do plan on sewing this. I want to use like a crisp cotton situation, maybe a quilting cotton. Maybe this one that I've had in my stash for a while now, that I keep kind of going back and forth about what I want to actually use it for. And this one does feel like it has a little bit more drape than what the pattern envelope, what the image on the pattern envelope is giving. However, I think it would still be a really nice pairing. This pattern comes in sizes 6 to 24, and I picked up the envelope for sizes 16 to 24. If I were to sew this pattern, I would sew a straight size 18 using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, because that is what best fits my body with the Big 4 patterns. The next pattern that I have is Simplicity 9134. This pattern was released in 2020, and it's been one that I've seen in the pattern envelopes for a while now, and I just never really pulled the trigger on. However, during the last sale, while I was there, I was flipping through the pattern books, and I decided to pull up Instagram and look at the hashtags for different patterns that I was interested in buying, particularly the old patterns, because there won't be many entries on the hashtag for the newer patterns. But like I said, for the older patterns, I went ahead and I pulled up the hashtag to see what this dress looked like on other people. And on some people, I wasn't too crazy about it, but there was one image in particular, which I will put here along with the username of the person, that really spoke to me. I feel like it was kind of giving an ethereal vibe, which is definitely something that I could see myself going for. So I went ahead and I picked up the pattern. I do plan on sewing VB with that asymmetrical hem, and I also plan on using like a check style fabric similar to what they did in the pattern envelope, because I like how when you pull in those little pleats at the waist, it kind of moves the lines around and gives like a different pattern. I'm really into that. So I already have a fabric picked out for this pattern. And this pattern envelope comes in sizes 6 through 24. I picked up the envelope that has sizes 16 through 24, and I plan on sewing a straight size 18. This pattern, Simplicity 9791, looks like an image that I have pinned on my Pinterest board, and I've had for a while now. I'm very happy to see it, because like I said, this image has been pinned on my inspiration board for a while now, and it is definitely something that I would love to try my hand at recreating. And what better season to do that than right now in the summer? So this is an easy to sew pattern. It has a top with no sleeves, it has a top with puffy sleeves, it has a skirt, and then it has a pair of pants. I am interested in view A, B, and C. I am not interested in the pants. I don't quite understand them. However, when I saw the reviews for this pattern, a lot of people were confused by the skirt but were more interested in the pants. So it's just to each his own, right? It's what we all like. However, I like that the skirt has that curved waistband. I feel like it's something different on like your basic gathered skirt. Like, we've seen the gathered style skirt a million times over at this point. It's nice to see one that puts a little bit of a spin on it, gives you something different. Now, who knows, I may sew it and I may hate it, but I definitely think it's worth a try. This pattern comes in sizes 4 to 20. I picked up the envelope that has sizes 12 to 20 in it, and I will be sewing a straight size 18 when I sew this pattern, because I plan on making this one soon. The next one is Simplicity 9784. It is also a part of their most recent drop. Now, when I was looking at these patterns, I went on the site and I tried to make sure that I was like positive of what I wanted to buy, because I'm trying to be a little more careful about the patterns that I bring into the sewing room. So I looked at this pattern at least 3 times, like 3 separate times of going on the website, looking through the line drawings, looking at the fabric chart, making sure that this is what I wanted. I don't know how, but some way I missed that this is intended for a knit fabric. Yeah. I don't know how I missed that, but I did. I think it's just the way that it's styled, and looking at her on the pattern envelope, I guess I can see on the front how it looks like a knit, but I was so fixated on the back, and the back is really not giving me knit fabric. Anyways, it's intended for a knit fabric. I am not going to sew it in a knit fabric. I definitely still plan on using a woven fabric, and my way of getting around that is that I will just size up. So when you're working with knit, you have something called negative ease so that it fits closer to the body, whereas when you're working with wovens, you want positive ease so it hangs away from the body. I will simply sew a size up from what I usually sew to give me a little bit of positive ease, because you don't need a lot of ease in this, or I'll see if I have any fabrics in my stash that have a little bit of elastane in them so that I have a little bit more give and wiggle room. Whatever the case may be, I definitely don't plan on sewing this with a knit. This pattern envelope comes from sizes extra small to extra extra large. All of the sizes are in one envelope, and if I make this, like I said, I'll size up, so I'll probably sew a size extra large. All right, the last pattern that I have from Simplicity is 8546, and this is a American Sewing Guild pattern. I believe this pattern was released in 2019. Recently, my big sister was in town and she wanted me to sew a dress for her, so we went and we flipped through the pattern books, and this is the pattern that she settled on. She was trying to have me recreate a dress for her that she saw in like a ready-to-wear store, and this is what she felt like was the closest. We made some tweaks and modifications to the pattern. I will put the picture of her final dress up here for you, but in the end, I absolutely loved the dress that we came out with, and so I have the pattern for myself, and I want to create that dress exactly as I made it for my sister, but for myself. So that is why I picked this up. I plan on sewing view B, which is the longer one with the high side slits. I will use the sleeve from view E minus the ruffle and add like a faux like fold up sleeve effect. This pattern comes, and this pattern envelope comes in sizes 6 through 24. I picked up the envelope sizes 16 through 24, and I will be sewing probably a size 20 or 22 just because I want the dress to have an oversized feel to it. Lastly, I have some Vogue patterns that I want to share with you. For the most part, these purchases were inspired by ready-to-wear designs that I've seen or saved or been inspired by for a while now. So the first one is this athleisure wear pattern. You have your crew neck sweater, you have your hoodie sweater, you have a long pair of leggings, and you have a pair of biker shorts. The seaming, the color contrasting, all of this on the leggings was definitely inspired by Thierry Mugler's style of leggings. Now, while I don't plan on using different colors of fabrics to create the leggings, I like the intricacy of having all of those different seams in the biker shorts. So I plan on sewing view A and C, which is the crew neck sweater, and the biker shorts with all of the seaming but in one straight color. I like the subtlety of it, but I also like that it's quite intricate, and it's something that you'll have to actually like be up close and see to appreciate. That really appeals to me. So that's why I went ahead and I picked up this one. This pattern comes in sizes extra small to extra extra large. All sizes are included in the envelope. With Vogue, I always size up, so I will be sewing a size 20. The next one is Vogue 1848, and this is a kind of like asymmetrical skirt situation. This skirt was 1000% inspired by the Alexander McQueen skirt, which also comes as a dress. Probably right here for you guys. I absolutely adore this look. I think it is so effortless, so chic, so cool, but so interesting. Again, we're getting to the point now where like your classic gathered skirt has kind of been played out for a while, and so I love all of these variations and modifications to the classic like tiered gathered skirt that give it like enough of a wow factor for it to feel fresh and feel new, but can still be looked at as like a classic silhouette down the line. And so very interested in this. Now this skirt comes with view A and view B, but the only difference between view A and view B is the length of the skirt. View B has a lot more drama, it's a lot longer. View A is a little more subtle, the ruffles aren't as long, the drama isn't as intense. So I definitely plan on sewing view A of this dress because I want to recreate something that's close to the look or has the essence of the look, but it's not exactly the look. I want something that's more wearable and will easily fit into my everyday wardrobe, which usually is a little bit more dressed up. So I feel like if I tone this down and I go with like the more calm version of the skirt view A, I can get something that I would wear often, but still has the essence of like a McQueen look. This pattern comes in sizes 8 to 26. I picked up the envelope for sizes 18 through 26, and with Vogue patterns, I always size up, so I will be sewing a size 20. All right, now with that look, the original McQueen dress has a corset top to go with it. I don't want that. I want something like a soft corset. I don't want the structure, I don't want the boning, I don't want the cups. I want something easy, it's summer, I don't need stuff sticking to my body like that. So I went ahead and I picked up Vogue 1838 for this bustier top. Now this was a part of their summer collection from 2022, and I had been eyeing it then, but even then I knew that I was only interested in the bustier top, and I kind of went back and forth of whether or not I wanted to go ahead and make the purchase. Ended up never making it. This summer rolled around and it's still on my mind, so I went ahead and I got it. Now that I have it, I think it would pair perfectly with this skirt to give, again, the essence of that McQueen look without all of the drama, because it is a soft corset. There's no boning in it. I believe it's lined, maybe interfaced, but all of those things still can create a very lightweight garment, which is what I'm looking for. So again, this is $18.93. This pattern actually has 3 pieces in it. So you get your bustier top, you get your shorts, and you get your high-low skirt. I'm not interested in the shorts, which are kind of like a sailor style short, and I'm not interested in the high-low skirt because I don't like high-low skirts, and I also feel like the skirt falls at a very awkward length. Like if ever I were to make it, which I don't think I will, I would need to, one, level out the hems and lengthen it, because I don't like when things hit me at the knee. It's like it's not mini, but it's not midi. It's just in this awkward in between phase, and I'm not into that. This pattern comes with sizes 6 through 22. I picked up the envelope for sizes 14 through 22, and I plan on sewing a size 20 with this because, like I said, with Vogue, I tend to size up. All right, and lastly, I have Vogue 1961. This pattern also kind of reminds me of an Erdem look from, I believe it was like spring, summer 2022. I could be 2023, excuse me. I could be wrong, but I'll put the look up for you. Now, this pattern isn't quite a dead ringer for it, but I feel like it could be modified to get me something closer to that look that, again, is more appropriate for every day. The bustier on this one is, in my opinion, more of a bralette, so I don't know if I'll go with this bustier or if I will just stick with this bustier. But the skirt on this one has a lot of seams through the front that I feel like if I played around with top stitching and adding volume, I could get a skirt that had the essence of the Erdem skirt, but not exactly a replica of the Erdem skirt. So that's why I went ahead and picked this up. And this pattern comes in sizes 4 through 22. I picked up the envelope for sizes 14 through 22, and I will, if I were to sew the skirt, I would be sewing a size 20. However, if I were to sew the pants, I would size all the way up to a size 22, just to be safe. Now, those were the fabrics that I picked up from Joann's. However, there were a few online shops that were having some pretty good sales, so I went ahead and I picked up some fabrics from some online shops as well. I want to show you those too. I usually don't show the fabric purchases, or excuse me, did I say fabrics this whole time? Because I meant patterns. If I said fabrics, I meant patterns. I usually don't show my online pattern purchases or share them with you all, but I kind of want to, because I know a lot of you do use digital patterns, and I'm getting into it more and more, and it's still pattern shopping nonetheless. And so I should be pretty quick, but I want to share them nonetheless. So the first 2 patterns that I want to share with you are from the Viki Sews website. I personally like Viki Sews Patterns a lot. I don't sew them as much as I should, just because I'm a little bit apprehensive about the process in which you have to go through, to get a PDF pattern ready to actually sew. It's like you gotta print it out, you gotta tape it together, you gotta cut it out, you gotta cut it out again, and it's just, it's usually not something I wanna do. I am looking into PDF plotting. A few of you have mentioned that to me, and I definitely think that would make it like more worthwhile in terms of like PDF patterns. I also have my projector here, but I'm running into some problems with it that I don't know how to troubleshoot. I've seen people using this projector. It is the Epson Ultra Short Throw, and they somehow managed to get their lines to be a lot darker and thicker on the pattern pieces than I'm able to achieve. So that's something that I need to figure out, and I feel like once I get that troubleshooted, I could definitely see myself like really getting into my PDF patterns. But until I figure that out, I'm a little bit apprehensive about it. Viki Sews was having a sale where they recently dropped a new bridal collection, and all of those patterns were 50% off. And I know it's a bridal collection, I understand that, but I feel like if you look past the fabrics that they chose, these dresses could easily work for like your everyday wear, everyday life. So the first one is the Viki Sews Marabella dress, and it is basically like this puffy sleeves. It's puffy at the top and then it's fitted at the bottom. I don't know what you call that. And if you flip the sleeve like this way,
This whole bottom piece is lined with like cover buttons, which I think is just so special and so sweet. It has a bubble skirt, which is not a skirt that I have in any of my patterns in my collection, and I really like it. I just think it's really sweet, it's really darling. So the bodice in the front and the back is ruched, and I just think that this could be a really sweet dress. So that was the first one that I picked up from them. The next pattern that I picked up from them was the Luana dress, and this is another one of their dresses from their bridal collection that was 50% off. This gives me like classic little black dress vibe. It's a white dress obviously, but it has so much interest and so much details in it, and I feel like you could just go bonkers on it. So the dress is composed of lots of seams. I'm looking at the line drawings right now, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panels in the front of the dress alone. There aren't many people who've sewn this dress, but if you do click on the hashtag on the website, there's one person who sewed it, and she used patchwork denim, and I'll put her here along with her name to credit her. It is just such a good dress, and it shows you that even though they did it for their bridal collection, this dress can easily be modified and adapted for everyday wear. So I went ahead and I picked up that one as well, and yeah, that's that. I feel like for the most part I was pretty reserved, and I had a method or a reasoning behind each pattern. I didn't just bring in things because I like the way they look, but these are actually things that I really want to sew and would definitely fit into my wardrobe. Now, if you're interested in seeing more pattern hauls from me, go ahead and check out this video, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.